Choice theory, reality therapy. Choice theory was developed by William Glasser in 1970s, and later reality therapy emerged out of that theory. We'll go and talk in detail about this theory today, but before we do that, I want you to pause and reflect on some questions. Do all human behaviors are motivated by some inner core needs? How much control we humans have on our behavior? What do you think about our thoughts, thinking? How much control we exercise on that? How much control we have on our feelings? And how much control we have on our physiology or our physical functioning? Our thinking, feeling, our behavior, how much control how much all these things are product of our choices. To what degree we have control over the choices we make in our life. And coming to maladaptive behavior, do we choose our miseries? If somebody is miserable, does that person choose to be miserable? And finally, do you think that making choices in our life is a skill and art that can be learned and developed? Think about these questions, and as we move ahead in this presentation, I hope you will have a better understanding of these questions. As we start our classes every day with some comics, I thought of finding one for reality therapy. I found this one on Google and wanted to share it with you. So yeah, have a look at it. The first concept that Glasser talked about is 5 core human needs. He called these 5 core human needs as genetically driven because he believed that these 5 needs are part of our genetic structure, and these needs are universal in nature. So everybody born as human has these 5 universal needs. What are these needs? The first one he talked about is the need for survival and security. This need is a physiological need which includes the need for food, shelter, safety. And because we have genetic instruction to survive not only as individuals but as a species, this includes the need to reproduce. The second need he talked about is the need for power. Power doesn't mean to rule over others. What he means to say is to achieve, to have a sense of achievement, to be competent, to be skilled, to be recognized for our achievements, to be listened to, and have a sense of self-worth. The third one he talked about is the need for freedom. The need to be free is the need for independence, autonomy, to have choices, and to be able to take control of the direction of one's life. The fourth need he talked about is the need for fun. The need for fun is the need to find pleasure, to play, to laugh. And the final one he talked about is the need for love and belonging. The need to love and belong includes the need for relationships, social connections, to give and receive affection, and to feel part of a group or society. All these needs are innate in nature, and sometimes they overlap as well. So, for example, the need for love and belonging overlaps with the need for fun. It is not possible. Most of our enjoyment in our daily life comes from uh, the the love and belongingness. So if we are able to fulfill the need for love and belongingness, it becomes a little easier to fulfill the need for fun. In our previous slide, we talked about five core human needs. Now the question is, we all have the same core five human needs, but how do we fulfill these needs? Do we all adopt the same strategies and ways to fulfill our needs? Or do we have our own ways of fulfilling these five needs? The answer is we all have our own ways of fulfilling these needs. For instance, the need for fun. I may play badminton to fulfill my need for fun. Others may have different ways of fulfilling their need for fun. So we all have our unique ways of fulfilling these five core human needs. And taking those strategies, ways of fulfilling these five needs collectively together, Glasser called it the quality word. So we all have our own unique way of fulfilling uh, our basic human needs, and this forms our quality word. So the quality word is a personal picture, kind of personal picture album, which contains the people we want to be with, the things we want to do, thoughts that govern our behavior, uh, the enjoyable moments in our life. It is a collection of everything that help us to fulfill our five core basic needs. So the first thing about quality word is it's unique for everybody. The second thing about quality word is it keeps on changing. So the strategies and ways I used to adopt to have fun 20 years ago is different, or slightly different, or maybe completely different than what I do to have fun these days. For instance, 20 years ago, I used to, one way of fulfilling my need for fun was watching cartoon. I don't watch cartoon anymore. So it keeps on changing. Now, at this moment, I want you to pause the video and reflect on some questions uh, that will help you to understand your own quality word. So you can just reflect on these questions like, who are the most important people in your life? What are your most deeply held values? If you become the person you would ideally like to be, what traits or characteristics would you have? What is an accomplishment that you are really proud of? If you could have the perfect job, what would that be? What does it mean to be a friend? What it brings a significant amount of meaning to your life? What for you makes a house a home? Reflect on these questions, and these questions, when you reflect on it, will help you to learn more about your quality word. Glasser also talked about another construct, that is total behavior. What is total behavior? Total behavior is ways and strategies we apply to realize our quality word to meet our basic needs. Now, why Glasser called the word total behavior, why he used this word instead of just saying behavior? He used the word total behavior because he said that a behavior include four components, and those components are every behavior include acting, thinking, feeling, and physiology. And taking these four components together, he called every behavior a total behavior. So, for example, If I'm jogging, the most obvious component is the acting component. But while I'm jogging, I'm also thinking a number of things like, what a beautiful day, or I love these new running shoes, or I wonder if I can make it up to the hill. I'm also feeling something like I can feel acceleration, possibly gladness, or maybe even a little fear at times. Simultaneously, my physiology is pumped up, my heart rate is up, my muscles are working, I'm sweating. So, this is my total jogging behavior where all these four components are present. But we name the behavior after the most salient component, like the acting is the most salient component in jogging, so that's why we named it as jogging. In contrast, a behavior named after the feeling component might be being angry. But while I'm angry, I may be thinking, how dare this person treat me this way? I may be doing something like yelling or pacing, and my physiology would most likely include muscle tension and shallow breathing. So all these four components make a total behavior. Glasser said that we have relatively more control over the first two components, like the acting and thinking, rather than the other two components of physiology and feelings. So if we want to change a behavior, we need to focus more on the acting and thinking part. I put this picture here to make sure that we understand how these three constructs that we have just discussed, five core human needs, quality world, and total behavior, and how they are related with each other, how they kind of put it all together. So on this picture, you could see on the right side the real world, and then we have the value system, knowledge filters, and then we have the perceived word. Glasser said that we do not perceive the word as it is, but we perceive the word based on our values and based on our experiences and knowledge. And on the other side, you could see our five core human needs. So as we already said, discussed that all humans have five core needs, and to fulfill those needs, we all have our own unique way of fulfilling those needs. And this unique way of fulfilling those needs is called quality word. Now, the quality word is part of our perceived word, how we perceive the word. So it is a kind of subset of how we perceive the word. Now, if you look at the bottom, there is a comparing place, and it means that based on our perceived word and a quality word, we make choices in terms of what actions, what behavior we follow. And that behavior has four components of thinking, uh, feeling, acting, and physiology. And that behavior is total behavior. And we have more control over the acting and thinking part component rather than on feeling and physiology components. So Glasser said that if we want to change a behavior, we should focus more on the acting and thinking part. Okay, so let's see how these ideas from the choice theory fits in a therapeutic framework in reality therapy. Talking about the thinking part, what are the roots of clients' concerns? Glasser said that clients' concerns are caused by unhealthy choices of total behavior to realize their quality world and meet their basic needs. Out of all the five needs, Glasser emphasized more on the need for love and belongingness. He said that all sorts of unhealthy ways to meet this need for love and connection is the key root of clients' concerns. Um, Another way to think about this is uh, by using a car metaphor that Glasser used to explain his theory. He said that the four wheels of the car are the total behavior. The front wheels that makes the car move are acting and thinking component of the total behavior. And the back wheels follow where the front wheels go. So the feeling and physiology component of the total behavior are just follow where the front wheels takes. The engine that makes the front wheel move is the quality word, and the destination we want to reach is symbolizes our basic needs. So if you do not drive carefully, or in other words, if you don't choose your total behavior carefully, you may meet with an accident and damage the car. Now, coming to how to resolve the client's concerns. Clients are needed to learn to make healthy choices regarding their total behavior to overcome their concerns. Glasser emphasized the need for clients to take responsibility for choosing the four components of total behavior and choose to move towards their quality word in a healthy way. So metaphorically speaking, they need to learn better driving skills, including their acting and thinking component of total behavior while moving towards their quality word. Coming to the doing part of the reality therapy, they have devised a system which is known as WDEP system, where W stands for wants, D stands for direction and doing, E stands for self-evaluation, and P stands for planning and action. So in the first step, the counselor tried to explore the wants, needs, and perception of the client, try to understand what are the needs which are met, what are the needs which are unmet, how the quality word of the client looks like. So this is the first step. In second step, counselor tried to explore the ways and the strategies the client is adopting to meet their basic needs as well as their quality word. In the third step, the counselor helps the client evaluate those actions, those behaviors, whether those behaviors are really helping the client effectively meet the quality word and hence their basic needs. And if they are not, then they try to sit and explore new ways of total behavior that could help the client meet those needs. So that happens in the fourth step of planning and action. So the counselor helps client to find out some specific ways to fulfill uh, to meet the needs of their quality word as well as their basic needs. So to devise an effective plan or a total behavior for the client, reality therapy suggests some guidelines, and these guidelines are known as SENIC 3, where S stands for simple. So whatever plan the client and counselor together come up with, it has to be simple. It has to, so the client could easily understand the specific things of those plans, and it has to be very concrete so that the client can easily understand and follow it. The second guideline they offer is the plan should be something which is attainable, means that it has to be within the capacities and motivation level of the client. If we make a plan which is beyond the capacities of the client, and even if the client wants to do that, it won't, he or she won't be able to do that. So the plan should be simple, it should be attainable. The third one is measurable. So how the client will know, how the counselor will know that the change is happening. So there should be something, some way to observe the changes that is happening after following that plan. The fourth one is immediate. So it should be the plan or the total behavior should be something that can be done immediately. So the what client can do right now or in from tomorrow. So it should be something that has to be done immediately. The fifth one is control. So the plan should be something where the client has some control over it. The client should be committed to follow it, and it has to be done continuously. So these are the five guidelines, SEMIC 3, which is known as SEMIC 3, uh, for the counselor to work with the client to devise an effective total behavior for their clients. Coming to the being component of this therapy, relationship, like other therapies, is important in reality therapy. The counselor uses the core counseling skills to do that. The role of counselor in reality therapy is more of a coach and teacher. He creates a supportive yet challenging environment to challenge the client, to examine their actions, wants, perceptions, level of commitment, possibilities for new directions, and their action plans, and explore if they are effective in meeting their current needs. Unlike other traditional therapies where a great deal of time is devoted to delving into the past, reality therapists believe that focusing on the past does not let the client face the reality of the current concerns or situations. The client becomes reluctant to accept that their suffering is due to the total behavior they are choosing. For reality therapists, symptoms are a kind of a warning sign that the behavior they are choosing is not satisfying their needs. Another role of the counselor is to gently and firmly confront clients with the fact that they only have control over their own behavior. As we already talked about the four components of the total behavior, counselor help the client understand that they have control over the first two components of their total behavior, which is action and thinking component. Reality therapists also reject transference. They believe that transference is is a way of avoiding who they are and taking responsibility for their actions. So that's all for now, and I'll see you in the class tomorrow. Uh, jot down your questions. Jot down, if you need any clarification regarding reality therapy or choice theory, and we will discuss those questions in the class. Thank you, and I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good rest of the day. Bye bye.